Happy birthday,
Tom.
Tom.
All right, settle down. Y'all know I don't like a fuss.
All right. I'm going first. Y'all better settle in, 'cause when I speak about this man, I speak from the heart. For those of you who don't know me, name's James Bowers. But this guy right here, he's the only one who still calls me Jimmy. Ain't no one else ever got away with that. Born October 8, 1965, retired neo-speech voice. If you ever heard a calm male voice say something terrifying like a civil danger warning has been issued, well, that might have been me. I was the calm before the storm. But he was the voice during it. Me and Tom, we come from different corners of the map, but the same cloth. I'm biracial, black and native. My roots run through strong land and proud blood. My mama had Comanche in her veins, and my pops? He was the kind of man who worked hard, talked little, and never bowed his head. That's where I got it from. Started working when I was 22, driving buses, loading passengers, and learning how to take care of a family before I ever stepped into a booth to record my first TTS line. I met this man during the Y2K scare, or in 2000. We didn't know what the heck was gonna happen, and back then, there was this unspoken code: if you had a voice people trusted, you used it. You didn't waste it. Tom Rogers had that voice, and not just a voice, but a soul behind it. I've watched this man be the calm in more storms than I can count. Tornado outbreaks, nuclear plant scares, hurricanes, even those wild pest alerts that shook folks out of bed at 3 a.m. And every single time, Tom showed up like clockwork. Serious. Reliable. Cold-blooded professional, but with a heart so big, he'd never show it unless you really knew him. Now, look, I'm not just up here rambling for old time's sake. I'm up here because this man right here, he saved lives. He didn't do it with a cape. He did it with steel nerves and a microphone. And you know what makes it all more special? He never once asked for applause. He never once needed the spotlight. Heck, we practically had to bribe him to show up tonight. I've been blessed with a son and two incredible daughters. Ryan Bowers, born March 6, 1991. He's 34, and everyone says he looks just like me and is a lighter version, and I totally agree with that. Dina Angelica Bowers, or simply known as Dina, also known as Deans, born on June 6, 1999, is 26 now. A brilliant pediatric nurse who lights up Pine Bluff with her laugh, zany personality, and her curly, highlighted hair. Then lastly there's Avril, my tall thinker. Glasses, hazel eyes, quiet soul but sharp as a razor. She stands 5'10", taller than her mama, taller than Dina, and she towers over them with grace. And you know what? All three of them, grew up hearing Uncle Tom on the radio. When tornadoes came through Pine Bluff in 2011. It was his voice that kept Dina calm while I was stuck on the road. Tom, you ain't just a legend in the emergency alert world. You ain't just a voice. You're a dang lighthouse. You've stood firm while everyone else was running. You carried this system on your back with dignity, and you walked through storms, personal and national, with your head held high. I know you don't smile often, brother. I know what your father did to you, and I know how hard it's been to live with those scars. But you've turned pain into purpose. You protected Elisa, you stayed strong through Carl's cancer, and you gave a million people peace in the worst moments of their lives. You're the reason I stayed in this game as long as I did, and you're the reason why, even now at 59, pushing 60, I still announce alerts once in a while, because I learned from the best of the best. To Thomas Camden Rogers III. The GOAT. The voice. The anchor. The brother from another mother. Happy birthday, my brother.
Wow. Jimmy, you just about brought the whole room to tears. For anyone who doesn't know me by name, you probably heard me speak without knowing it. Raymond David Cooper II, known by some of you as Microsoft David. I'm the voice that came with your PC back when Windows 8 dropped in 2012. I'm also featured on Windows 10 and Windows 11. Friendly, neutral, natural, at least that's what the marketing folks said. Born November 15, 1987. Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm a product of two places, Lexington, Kentucky through my dad, and Richmond, Virginia through my mom. I was raised in a Christian home mostly, around my mother. My mom, Casey, is the reason I'm standing here today. Strong woman. Fierce protector. And to my siblings, Zira, my fellow TDS partner, and Trinity, my heart, and my joy. You made my life worth living more than this voice ever did. I met Tom Rogers back in 2017. June 29th, to be exact. I remember it because it was one of those moments that stick with you. You don't forget the day you meet someone who's already a legend. At first, I'll admit I was intimidated. This man right here? The voice of the emergency alert system for 13 straight years? The voice that made America stop in its tracks? I figured he'd brush me off. Think I was some kid in a hoodie pretending to be important. But nah. Tom looked me straight in the eye, said, "You the Windows guy?" I nodded. And he said, "Let's see if you can last." That was Tom. No fluff, no praise. Just challenge. Just respect earned the hard way. Truth is, I didn't last like him. Nobody has. Nobody can. You don't replace Tom Rogers. You just follow the path he paved and hope to leave your own kind of mark without ever trying to fill his boots. I mean, how the heck do you replace the guy who was the voice of calm in a tornado, a radiological hazard, a freaking nuclear emergency? You don't. Tom, you were never flashy. Never wanted the credit. But we've all seen what you built. From Craig before you, to Paul after, we all stand on your legacy. What you gave this nation, what you gave us, is stability. Reassurance. Safety. When I got married in 2017, Tom showed up. No fanfare. No long speech. Just sat in the back, nodded at me when I caught his eye, and stayed the whole time. He's never been the kind to say he's proud, but you feel it. You feel it when he shows up. And to me, that's real love. That's real brotherhood. You've met my wife, Katana. You've seen my sisters Zira and little Trinity. You've even seen my daughter and my son, Raven, and David Cooper Jr. born January 1st, 2019 and February 22nd, 2022 respectively. You've treated them like your own. You've done that for all of us. Jimmy, Paul, the entire TDS world. Even when you vanished after 2016, your influence never left. Every voice that ever wanted to sound human, sound real, is chasing after what you perfected. Tom. I don't say this lightly, man. You are my friend. You are my mentor. And you are the reason I carry myself the way I do when I step in that booth. You showed me what it means to serve quietly, to stand tall without being loud, and to let your work speak louder than any applause ever could. To Thomas Camden Rogers III, TCR3, the original tone of trust, and the voice of a nation. Happy 53rd birthday, brother. We're not here because you wanted a party. We're here because you...
Well, this is kind of surreal. My name's Paul Frederick Trevor Goodman. Some of y'all know me as Voice Text Paul. Others just call me Paul, and if you're part of the NOAA system or ever heard a weather alert since late 2016, well, chances are you've heard me. I'm the current voice of the emergency alert system and NOAA weather radio, and the man I replaced is sitting right over there, the guy we're celebrating today, Mr. Thomas Camden Rogers III. Or as most of us know him, Tom. Or if you're unlucky enough to piss him off, TCR3. I took over in 2016. I was just a former trucker, a guy with no broadcast training or broadcasting experience. Never sat behind a radio board. Never had a demo reel. Heck, I didn't even think they'd pick me. But NOAA took a chance on me. And then, I met him, June 13, 2016. National Weather Service Headquarters. This tall, serious, silent guy walks up to me, shakes my hand, and just says, "You better not screw this up." That was my welcome. But it wasn't out of spite. It was protection. See, Tom didn't hate me. Not really. He hated what was happening. He was being retired, not because he was outdated, but because the system couldn't carry his legacy forward. His voice, the dang iconic voice, couldn't transfer to the new software, and it made him angry. Made him bitter. And that bitterness? For 9 years, it landed square on me. Tom thought I was too slow, too synthetic, like I was reading off retweets. He said I didn't have the urgency, the power, the command his voice had. And to be honest, he was right. You were the voice, Tom. You were the standard, from 2003 to 2016, no matter what disaster was hitting, hurricane, tornado, civil danger warning, even a freaking monthly test, your voice made people listen. It made them act. That wasn't just tone. That wasn't just training. That was you. I spent years trying to prove myself in your shadow. And I'll admit it now, I hated you for it. Not because you were cruel, but because you were right. You cared so much. And it took me too long to understand that. March of this year, I got a call from you. That moment changed everything. You said, "Paul, I was wrong." I wasn't mad at you. I was mad at losing something I loved. And I took it out on you. Tom, you didn't have to say that, but the fact that you did? That shows me everything I ever needed to know about the kind of man you are. But see, all this, none of it means a dang thing if you don't know where you come from. I came from Iowa City, Iowa, well, born there, born September 16, 1976. But I was raised in Cedar Rapids starting in 1977. My last name's Goodman because the Iowa Department of Health made a typo on my birth certificate. It was supposed to be Goodwin, like my big brother Eddie. But it stuck, and maybe it was fitting, you know? 'Cause I never really followed the path people expected of me. Eddie and I, we were 9.5 years apart, but he was like my second dad. He graduated in 1985, and I was just 8. But when I graduated in 1995, that man drove 19 hours straight from Virginia just to watch me walk across that stage. That's family. That's the kind of love you earn. And you know time flies, because it has been 30 years since I've graduated high school. I was 18. 30 years later, I'm 48, turning 49, this coming September. And then, I met Jenna. My wife. My rock. She was 17 when we met. We met in December 1997. I was just getting my life together. I was broke, sweaty from the road, and borderline sleep deprived, and she still thought I was cute. Said I looked like a younger Sam Elliott with anxiety. We officially got together 1998, and we tied the knot on December 12, 2012, and this year will our 13th anniversary. Jenna works at Walmart. She's a cake decorator, the cake decorator. Every holiday, every birthday, every wedding in our area, her touch is on it. Her hands create joy. She's got the biggest heart you've ever seen. And she's 5'4", with the soul of a giant, even though she doesn't like my antics and messing around with her just to make her mad. That woman held our family together during my long hauls, the NOAA nights, the missed anniversaries, and especially when I almost lost my job. Our son Daniel, he's 26 now. He went into trucking just like his old man. Got his CDL in 2018, started his career on May 4th, 2019, a day before his sister's 14th birthday. He's quiet, he's thoughtful, got a wicked sense of humor, and yeah, he wears his hair long just to annoy me. He's got my stubbornness and his mama's patience. And Eleanor, my sweet, bold, ferocious Eleanor. She just turned 20, still lives at home, still baking up masterpieces in our tiny kitchen. Wants to be a cake decorator like her mom. She's got Jenna's looks, green eyes, dimpled smile, all of it, but she got my fire. And my nose. She's funky, smart, funny, and if I'm being honest, she's got a little sass problem. She's my mini storm chaser, emotional, beautiful chaos in motion. And she's going to change the world with a whisk and a spatula. So, yeah. When I say I'm blessed, I really mean it. But not every chapter in my story is something I'm proud of. I can't stand up here and talk about grace and gratitude without owning what I did last year. May 22nd, 2024, I was in the booth issuing a tsunami warning for the entire West Coast. Something I'd done dozens of times before. The Pacific was boiling, pressure was rising. Sirens were sounding. But I was the one melting down. For 12 whole minutes, I lost control. I cussed out the public, called them all kinds of names, motherfuckers, assholes, pathetic. I told them I hoped they'd rot in hell. Live. On the air. While a tsunami was bearing down on them. I snapped. Not because I hated people. Not even because they weren't listening. It was because I thought they weren't listening to me. I had made it about myself, not about the alert. I let ego take over in a moment when clarity was needed most. There's no excuse. There's no version of that moment where I come out looking good. I walked out of the booth as the wave approached. NOAA suspended me for 3 weeks. Rightfully so. The public deserved better. You all deserved better. But here's what saved me, my family didn't leave. Jenna didn't walk out. My kids didn't hang their heads in shame. My brother Eddie called and said, "You screwed up. Now make it right." And you know who else called? Tom. You did. You told me, "I've been angry before. I've been bitter. But I never forgot what this job means." Don't you forget it either. That phone call pulled me out of the darkest hole I'd been in since I took this job. Tom, you may not have liked me when we met. Hell, I didn't like me for a while either. But you gave me grace when I needed it most, and today, I want to return the favor by saying this: happy birthday, TCR3. You are, and will always be, the true voice of the emergency alert system. But more than that, you're a man who's earned every ounce of respect in this room.
Well, I figured it was time someone from Wisconsin spoke tonight. I'm Nikki Alexandra Rogers, born March 11th, 1977, Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I'm the proud wife of the tall, quiet, impossible-to-read man you all came here to celebrate today, Thomas Camden Rogers III, or as I call him, Babe. We met in 96, fell for each other by 99, and we've been together ever since. That's 26 years. I waited 20 of those for him to propose. Yup, you heard me right, 20. I mean, some women wait a little while, sure. But I was out here doing full marathons in patience and loyalty. He finally popped the question on June 16th, 2016. I still remember every second of it. It was awkward, sweet, mumbled halfway through, and absolutely perfect. And 3 years later, on June 19th, 2019, we said, "I do." Just like that. The man who said he doesn't like crowds gave me the happiest moment of my life in front of everyone we loved. People always ask me, why did Tom take 20 years to marry the love of his life? And I tell them, because he had to fight through things you don't see. Tom has lived with ghosts. He's carried pain he never asked for, wounds no one ever stitched, and memories that don't come with any kind of closure. He's been through betrayal, heartbreak, loss, silence, and some of the deepest loneliness you can imagine. And still, he chose to love. He chose me. He chose Sasha. He chose this life. And yeah, he's tough. He's intense. And when something's broken, be it a truck, a radio, or someone's soul, Tom doesn't talk about it. He just goes to work. He fixes it. But what most people don't see is that behind all that seriousness is the softest, kindest, most fiercely loyal man I've ever known, and I'd wait another 20 years all over again if I had to, because being loved by Tom Rogers, it's worth the wait. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time we all hear from the man of the hour. The voice that warned a nation, the engine whisperer, the 6'6" legend from Mobile, Alabama, raised Mobile, Alabama, my husband, the one and only birthday goat, Tom Rogers!
Yeah, I know. Reading glasses. Say hello to 53. 25 years ago, I didn't need these. Back then, I could read a VIN number off a moving truck at night. Now I need these damn things just to figure out if I'm holding the right speech. But I want to say something real before I forget. I thank God I'm still here. Still breathing, still standing, still got dirty blonde hair. No grays, not one. Some of y'all in here hit 45 and turned into a snowstorm, not me. Now, I don't usually make speeches. Hell, I barely even talk at dinner unless Elisa's going off and I have to stop her. But tonight, it's different. Tonight I look around this room and I see faces that have stuck with me through everything. Nikki. What can I say? You've been by my side since 1999. Took me 20 damn years to finally put a ring on it. But you waited. You saw something in me even when I couldn't. That takes love and patience and probably a bit of insanity, too. You gave me a daughter, Sasha, who changed my life. I was 50 when she graduated high school. Now she's in college, blossoming into a woman who's quiet, kind, smarter than I ever was, and tough as nails. And you better believe I'm proud. I've had a long life, a hard one. Ain't always smiled through it. Truth is, I stopped smiling back in 2000. Got thrown down the stairs by my own father and never looked back. Some of y'all don't know what that kind of hurt feels like. Others do. But that pain shaped me. And I swore from that day on I'd be better than the man who tried to break me. And somehow I wound up here, with a family, with friends, with a job I never expected, and a legacy I didn't plan to leave behind. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. How the hell does a 6'6" Alabama truck guy with a Cummins shirt wind up being the most iconic voice in emergency alert history? Truth is, it wasn't planned. I was going to be a rapper. I'm not kidding. I had bars, hooks, mixtapes nobody wanted. Called myself TR3. That's Thomas Camden Rogers III, if you didn't know. Or I was going to go by T-Rod. Then my mama heard one of my tracks and said, "Tommy, you sound like..." Then, suddenly, computer freezes, console crashes. I get shocked by the damn headphone jack. Coffee spills on the floor. Exasperated, and just before we go live, the power flickers. Thought it was a sign from the heavens. Almost walked out. But then I heard my voice play back over the monitor. Clear, calm, cold. And I thought, that's it. That's the sound that makes people listen. For 13 years, I gave my voice to America. Through hurricanes, tornadoes, Amber Alerts, nuclear plant failures. I never cracked, never yelled, just spoke. Because sometimes that's all people need. A voice that doesn't break when the world does. In 2016, I trained Paul. Didn't like him at first, and that ain't a secret. I was bitter. Thought they were replacing me with a machine in a Vikings hoodie. But Paul showed up, showed heart, showed drive, and over time, I saw in him what others saw in me back in '03. And now, I'm damn proud of you, Paul. So, yeah, I'm 53, still got my trucks, still got my family, still got my voice, and still no grays. Y'all gave me a gift tonight, just by being here. And maybe I'm not the rapper I wanted to be, but I'm the man I needed to be. Husband, father, brother. Firmly, the voice in the storm. There's one more person I want to talk about. She couldn't be here tonight. She's back home in Winston-Salem, working late, doing her thing at the music store she basically runs now. That's my little sister, Elisa Ray Rogers, born October 11th, 1991. She's 19 years younger than me, and I swear to God she's got the same temper I had at her age, except she's a whole lot louder when she's pissed off. She's fire, always has been. I helped raise her, changed her diapers, taught her to ride a bike, took her to school, protected her from everything I could. It was just us for a while. We stopped talking for a long time. 9 years, just drifted. Things got complicated. I don't even remember what caused it anymore. Pride, probably, maybe pain, maybe both. She reached out earlier this year, softly, just messaged me one night, relieved, said, "Hey, big brother," like not a damn day had gone by. We talked, laughed, cried, told each other things we never got to say. I found out she never stopped thinking about me, never stopped wondering how I was doing, and I never stopped missing her. I wanted her here tonight more than anything. I even saved a seat, but she's doing what she does, showing up for everyone else, making things happen, keeping the music alive in that store she loves. That's who she is. She's tough. She's real. She's Elisa. She means the world to me, and I never told her that enough. So if she somehow hears this, Elisa, I love you. Always have, always will. You're my little sister, and no time, no distance, not even silence could ever change that. I'm proud of you. So damn proud of you. All right, enough tears. Let me show y'all why I almost didn't become the voice of the EAS. This was Plan A. Wrote this a long time ago. Never spit it out loud before. Tonight, y'all get the exclusive. Let's go. Yo, they told me I was born to warn, but I was raised in a storm, voice torn, pain worn, came out the womb with a frown like I'd sworn to fight fate, break gates, never conform. See, I could have been a rapper, backstage clapping, pen snapping, dreams dapping, but life had me trapped in a job with a mic, didn't hype, it was blasting. Got a call in 03. Tom, you ready? Became the EAS like I'm holding the levee. Spit warnings like sermons, voice calm but heavy, while my dreams in the mirror got cold and petty. But I held on, weary, did 13 strong even when the nights were long. Monotone, didn't smile, didn't sing, didn't dance, just gone. But I made it to the light. Nikki kept me warm. My sister's in the South, put her name in my chest. Every word she says inked deep in my flesh. My daughter's my pride, my ride or die breath. And my wife's the only reason that I outpace death. Yeah, I'm 53, no gray, still bold, dirty blonde, shine like I'm dipped in gold. Been knocked down, locked out, heart gone cold. But I built this life back with a voice and a soul. Now I'm sitting on a stage with a crew that I trust. Jimmy, David, Paul, legends with dust. From the mic to the storm, from the steel to the rust. We ain't just voices, man, we the system you trust. Bold, call me the GOAT, voice of dread and hope. Came from pain, spit flame like I'm cleaning the scope. Could've rapped full time, but the world said nope, so I told fear, bitch, back up, I'll cope. I ain't perfect, raw, still snap, still swear, still hurting, still learning, still searching for peace in a world that keeps burning. But tonight, I'm alive, I'm proud, I'm loud, I'm free. No regrets, no scripts, just legacy. And if you ever doubt who the hell I be, just replay this rhyme. Serious, remember proud, you heard it from TCR3. Before I wrap this up, I want to talk to someone else in this room. Paul Goodman. You and we've had a rocky damn road. And most of that, I'll be honest, was my fault. I've held on to a lot of bitterness over the years. Bitterness over being replaced, over how it all went down. I let that bitterness get personal, and that's on me. I blamed you for things that weren't yours to carry. I was angry at the National Weather Service, angry at FEMA, angry at the system. Hell, angry at myself most of all. But you were the face of the change, and I took it out on you. I was jealous. You had big shoes to fill, and you didn't just fill them. You damn near rebuilt the whole boot. You brought a new style, a new sound. You made it yours. I didn't respect that, and I should have. I see you now, Paul. Not just as the guy who took my place, but as someone who's been holding up the torch ever since, and doing it well. And I'll say this, too. I finally figured out why they picked you to be the new voice. Because you sound like what melatonin would sound like if it had anxiety. See, that right there is why I was the people's favorite. But in all seriousness, thank you, Paul, for carrying the weight when I stepped down, for keeping the people informed, and for being here tonight. Means more than you know. Thank you all for coming out, for the love, the stories, the memories, and for letting this old voice say a few more words. All right, one more thing, and this one's gonna be, well, yeah, I wasn't gonna bring this up, but if I'm gonna stand here and talk about forgiving Paul, might as well talk about the man I never did forgive. My father, Thomas Camden Rogers, Jr. You know, I used to practice voices, cartoons, celebrities, politicians, but the one impression I never wanted to master was his. Boy, you ain't got no business here. I should have left you in the hospital. I wish you'd never been born. Happy Thursday, right? Yeah, that was October 17th, 2000. The day he shoved me down a flight of stairs when I tried to visit my mother. That same night, I drove home, lit a cigar, the only one I ever smoked, and told myself, that man is dead to me. I was 28. I haven't seen or spoken to him since, not once. He's 75 now, turning 76 on July 27th. Still breathing, somewhere in South Carolina. And to this day, not a phone call, not a letter, not a damn thing. But you know what? I still hear his voice sometimes. That yell, that anger, that disappointment. Like a ghost in my chest. And the messed up part, that voice, his voice, is what made my voice work. That tone, that command, that grit, it followed me right into the EAS booth. October 17th, 2003. Exactly 3 years later. This is not a test. This is a national emergency. I still don't love my son. Now y'all know where I got it from. I spent years afraid I'd become him, that I'd end up like the man who broke me. But I look at my wife, I look at my daughter, and I know I didn't. I broke the chain. That's my proudest damn accomplishment. So tonight ain't just about 53 years. It's about surviving the first 28 and thriving in the 25 that followed. Still no gray hair, by the way. I'm officially aging like a vampire. Thank you all for letting me speak. Thank you for loving me through all of it. And thank you for being here on the best damn day of my life.